Alrighty everyone, hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of my nonsense and also Belok's nonsense. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve, so I will say Merry Christmas to you all and also just Happy Holidays to anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas and anyone who's also seeing this after the new year, as you likely are if you're on my YouTube. This here is Belok. He's my pigeon and he is a minion of evil in all things darkness and despair. Don't be deceived by his little white dove appearance. He is a gremlin. Anyway, as I am filming this on Christmas Eve, this is basically the last thing I gotta do this week before I can just slip into the end of year chocolate and schnapps-induced coma that is tradition at this point for me. So with all that said, I figured we'd have a little bit of a chat about what it means to actually begin the year and like when that actually is, because I saw this video from the Glass Glow Witch and it gave me a lot of thoughts. Let me show it to you.
The depth of winter is not the time to start making New Year's resolutions. As we move towards the dark half of the year at Samhain, I like to think of that as planting season. Not for the garden, but for the self. This is the time to start thinking about what you want to bring to life in the year ahead, long before the world tells you to start making resolutions in January. In my practice, I follow the 13 magical nights, a quiet ritual that bridges the old year and the new. Between now and the solstice, I will begin writing down 13 things that I'd like to see come to fruition. And when I write those down, it won't be I want and I wish, but I am and I have. Each one is written as though it already lives somewhere inside me, waiting to unfold. These are not wishes for others. They are seeds of your own becoming. You might write 1 or 2 each week between now and the solstice, giving them time to ripen in your mind and heart. I will take each one and fold it and keep it safe until the time is ready. Then on the 12 nights between the solstice and the turning of the calendar year, I burn one statement each night, one seed at a time, in a candle flame. I don't read it, I keep it folded, and I trust. The act of burning releases it to my guides, to the universe, to whatever pattern of life carries it forward. And on the 13th night, I unfold that piece of paper, and that one I keep. It's the task that belongs to me, the seed I must tend myself. All of the others will be taken care of in their own time. So now, in this slowing season, start listening for what wants to grow. Write it down gently, like tucking a bulb into the soil. Give it darkness, give it rest, and come the turning of the year, you will be ready to offer each one to the fire and the future.
I love the Glass Glow Witch. I think her vids are fantastic. I think she has a lot of great advice, and she just has this really beautiful way of explaining things and showing her practice, and she has given me a lot of ideas as well. I mean, I've even I've done the 12 days of Christmas little wish jar thing that we're going to start on Christmas Day instead of Yule, because that makes sense for me thematically / religiously. Also doing some fun stuff with St. Joseph, which I have to go do after this as well. And I will tell you that all of the stuff that I'm mentioning that I'm doing, you can actually see when you sign up for my Patreon and get into the higher tiers, where I share a whole lot of extra stuff about my practice and the stuff that I do. And where you can also get these videos 2 weeks early and ad-free. However, if you don't want to do that, of course, you can always just like the video, subscribe, and then ring the bell so you can see these every Friday. And if you're not entirely sure who the hell I am yet, because I did this out of order today, my name is Sara Dastresen. I am a Christian witch, content creator, educator, writer, specifically a writer of this book right here, Discovering Christian Witchcraft, who by now, by the time you're seeing this, has its sequel, Discerning Christian Witchcraft, already out and ready to go. If you were thinking to yourself, how is it possible to put Christian and witch in the same sentence? These 2 books absolutely get you the foot in the door, basically, to understanding that, give you a foundational grasp of what it means to combine these things of the, the Bible and what the Bible actually says about this stuff, about traditions and practices and all these other things to get you started, and also on the topsy-turvy mess that is the mystic journey, that following a path like this will inevitably drag you down. Are you done being evil? Never done. He's never done. Always evil. So, this conversation around when the year actually starts and what the time is to be doing these things. Let's think about it for a little second, right? Because here in the West, especially in America, in Europe and all that, we have New Year's Eve on December 31st. We have January 1st being our official turn to the new year, where we will inevitably spend the next 2 months writing last year's year on everything we have to sign. And maybe there's a reason for that, right? Maybe there's something to the idea that it's because the year's not actually over yet to our bodies and to our spirits. For all intents and purposes, starting the new year in the dead of winter when everything is still sleeping seems like a weird choice, right? It kind of makes it feel like a Rip Van Winkle situation where we go to sleep in the winter, we kind of forget everything it is that we are, supposed to be doing. We're winding down, we're giving up on trying to accomplish it anymore. And all of a sudden, we blink, open our eyes, maybe wipe the hangover dust out of our eyes, and realize, oh shit, it's an entire new year. Oh no! That can be jarring for a lot of people, because traditionally, in a lot of cultures, the point of the new year is more in the spring, and we see, especially in a lot of pre-Christian cultures across Europe, this to be the case with spring festivals. We also see this in something like, for instance, the Persian New Year, Nowruz. We also, we see this actually also kind of, sort of something in Passover, as Passover is what decides the Easter date as well. But Passover is not the Jewish New Year, that's Rosh Hashanah, which actually takes place in the autumn. There are cultures and tribes and religions that do this in the autumn too, right? Rosh Hashanah, and then also the Lunar New Year celebrated across many East Asian and Southeast Asian cultures. And I am drawing a blank to think if there are any summer New Years, because we've got them for all other 3 seasons. But for some reason, summer just is kind of like just big happy peak of the year, and that's really it as far as I'm concerned. But as you can see, there's a lot of different ideas as to when the hell the new year actually starts and the old year actually ends. And I bring this up today because I do think that it is worth deciding to yourself what it actually means to let one thing end and let another thing start, right? When we have our New Year's traditions, when we're sitting here waiting for like the big ball to drop in America, or waiting for the fireworks to go off in Europe or whatever, when we're sitting here thinking to ourselves, okay, cool, so new year, new me, like here's all the stuff I want to do in the next 365 calendar days, what actual moment, ritual, or whatever signifies that divide between the old and the new? That's something we got to ask ourselves. Because I don't know if you know this, but humans take some time to build new habits and actually change. It takes a lot more than one very vodka-soaked night with some goofy New Year's paraphernalia on to do that. And so for some people, right, it does make sense during January to start something new, because this is the season of Capricorn. This is the season of, leadership, of goal setting, of material organizing and getting things going, of moving ahead full steam. That is what the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn is all about. So when people say it doesn't make sense to start the new year in the winter, I say, well, I mean, it kind of does, granted that you're starting in Capricorn season and not in Pisces or Sagittarius season. I will say this, as someone who is heavily mutable in my chart, you don't want to start shit during a mutable season. You don't want to start a goddamn thing. School beginning in Virgo season? Why? Capricorn is literally like, they call him the father of the zodiac. In my mind, Capricorn is the CEO of the zodiac. And so if you are someone who has a lot of like material goals, or requires a lot of structure and a lot of like foundational groundwork going on, you require a lot of infrastructure around how you're going to get stuff done, honestly, it makes sense to me that you would start your new year in the dead cold of winter during Capricorn season, right? Because this marks a season, a phase that a lot of people overlook when it comes time to start something new, and that is planning. You cannot just hit the ground running and go. You are not Aries. You are not running at full speed towards whatever looks cool and sounds nice, only to sputter out and lose steam within 5 minutes. No. This is Capricorn season. In a Capricorn season, okay, we do things slowly. We plan things out. We hit some goals on our Excel spreadsheet. Plan out some milestones, right? Okay, how do I know I'm on the right track when I've hit X, Y, and Z milestone in the next 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and so on? When you want that kind of energy, that's all about that kind of leadership, that kind of Saturnarian bookkeeping ass shit. Absolutely. January is where you want to start your new year, in my opinion. But speaking of Aries, speaking of Pisces, if you are someone who wants to take a more playful approach to the new year, who wants to get less in tune with that kind of, strict, structured, segmented routine and get more into a natural rhythm, more fae-like, more, spontaneous, exuberant, more connected to your intuition, and willing to just see where the flow of life takes you, yeah, actually, I would say that spring is probably when you would want to go ahead and start your new year. The first day of spring pops up for us pretty much right there on the cusp of Pisces and Aries season, Pisces being a sign, mutable sign, that is very much into, all those illusions, all the dreams, all the spiritual stuff, it being ruled by Neptune. It's also, as a mutable sign, something that is very adaptable, very easy and able to go with the flow. It can figure things out without a solid, hard structure a little bit better than Capricorn. Which makes sense that it's also a sister sign to Virgo, who really likes to act organized and get a plan together and then kind of fuck off on that plan immediately. Hi, I'm a Virgo, and I do that. Aries, right after, though, is known as the child of the zodiac. It rules the first house of the self and, appearance and all that kind of stuff, of just kind of self-realization. It is the ram. It is a fire sign. It is a cardinal sign, so it still wants to be the leader, but very explosively, very spontaneously, very exuberantly, right? It's got that really zesty energy, and while it kind of needs other people, namely the fixed signs in the room, to give it the continual energy and push it needs to see its own goals through, it is a great way to kind of just burst back into life, as spring tends to do. If you're someone who really wants to skip the planning phase of your goals and doesn't think that you need to plan, thinks that you're just gonna say fuck it and go full speed ahead and see what happens, spring makes more sense. Spring is that very youthful, that very carefree, natural kind of rhythm, right? That kind of wake up with the sun, go to bed with the moon type of rhythm. And I think that when it comes to starting the year, that makes sense for a lot of people. It makes sense for a ton of people. And it's no wonder that you see a lot of folks say like, hey, don't ask me to do shit until the spring equinox. I am waiting until the sun is actually in equilibrium again. The entire of winter for many people is the dying season, is the sleeping season, right? Is that hibernation season. And they don't want to be asked to do a bunch of bullshit while they're still trying to hibernate. And I get it. I understand, because let me tell you something. Oh, trying to wake up before the sun's up kills me. Ever since I actually started paying attention to my body and like organizing my day around being able to wake up when the sun is up, yeah, suddenly I can sleep better, my mood is better, I'm less tired, like shit's just nicer, And it's not even that much longer. It's getting up at 7 instead of getting up at 5. For me personally, I do really like to start my year like in January, because I am a planner. Hi, Virgo here. Again, as I said, I do make plans. I fuck off on them a lot, but I do make plans, and I really like to timeline out, schedule out what's going on. I also consider, right, like the winter, kind of that trial, that incubatory period where no one's expecting too much of anyone just yet, and that's where I can actually get a lot of groundwork to my goals done and settled. Hell, I'm still doing groundwork for my goals right now. Even though it is winter, I am, gonna write a new book next year. I'm gonna write 2 new books next year. And so yeah, I've been doing the groundwork for that book this entire month of December. Haven't written a word of it yet, but it's already basically being written up here so that when I do sit down to write come January, you'll best believe that it will not be nearly so hard as if I waited until January to do all that up. December, winter in general, is that planning period, that gestating period for me. And so that's where I just go full, like, whole hog into trying my friggin' damnedest to get set up so that when the when the new fiscal year starts and when all that other stuff's going on, when the calendar officially switches, I'm able to just run. I'm able to just go, set up that groundwork, and then once everyone else is just thawing in the spring and just kind of starting to get out of that New Year fugue, I'm already well on my way. I am someone who is pretty career focused, even though maybe I should probably focus on other aspects of life at this point. I am someone who is very much always trying to get my next project started and my next project done. It's very earth sign behavior, despite the fact that my rising and my moon is in Sagittarius. What can I say? What can I say? The Virgo sun really do just be that little ball of dirt in the middle of everything that I am, so but as such, for me, like, this is where I like to rock. And also it's when all my friends are rocking, we're all celebrating that, like, number turning around, and we're all already thinking about what it is we want to do next year. And for me, what I want to do next year, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I got 13 wishes in that little wish bucket, and God willing, they all come true, because there's a lot of shit in there. But I'm also very tired and very done of the festivities at this point. Here's another thing. I can't just keep sleep. I'm a very active person, and I gotta keep moving, and I gotta keep creating, and I gotta keep going, which is why also, like, this time of year, January is my personal preferred start of New Year. But also because, listen, again, as a Sagittarius rising and moon, Sagittarius season's a lot. I have eaten so many cookies. I have drank so many cocktails. I have still yet more to eat and to do. And I'm tired of it. My routine is all fucked up. My normal schedule, my normal eating patterns, they're all over the place, and I cannot do that. I cannot have this for too long. I will go insane. 1 month of December to go buck wild is more than enough for me before I'm ready to go start a new thing. Get it over with, keep it moving. I would be very interested to know when you all feel is the actual start of the year to you. Is it here in January? Is it in the spring? Is it maybe in the autumn? Where do you find that you are really connecting with the concept of endings and beginnings? And what does that actually mean to you? With all that said, again, I wish you a very happy holidays. I am off to go do a bunch of other stuff, and I will see you guys next time for some more good chats. So, see ya. And goodbye from this evil little goblin as well. Abio Benyo.